Right, we're back. We finally get to play. I know we didn't get to play a couple of weeks ago because of some minor issues, like people oversleeping or not showing up, and us all sitting around waiting for ages, and people getting
You got
fed
that
up.
the
And
other way around. It's not showing up and then people falling asleep. Dude, it was 12! Sleepy time!
actually, it was more like 1, but yeah, it was getting late.
That doesn't make it any...
He was talking about me being oversleeping. No, you can have it, Dennis. And let Marinette in, please.
So anyway, we're nearly all here now, and that's good for me. Let's take it away. Speaking of people not being on a server, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I see everyone is here, so that's good. Right. In the morning, you all wake in the cave, and it's raining outside. It looks pretty gloomy and miserable. And you wait, and wait, and wait for Tolly Remsata, the fisherman, to come and collect you in his boat. Now, some hours pass, and the rain doesn't really let up. And you'd think he'd be here a bit sooner, but for whatever reason, he doesn't initially show up until nearer lunchtime. At which point, eventually, you see his old bent form rowing his boat through the waters towards you. Raindrops splattering across the river surface around his boat as it approaches the cavern.
I shout, "About time you got here!"
He calls out something, but you can't quite hear it at this distance, and he rows closer.
What did he say? I can't hear him.
I don't know, he probably didn't like that.
This... would I be able to maybe squint and see or hear... focus on perception?
Well, you know, squinting is not exactly good for hearing.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Squint or hear. I didn't say squint.
Oh,
This
okay.
is
Gotcha,
this
gotcha.
this is right up there with a few years ago with Carrie saying, "I want to look and see if I can hear footprints." And a few seconds later, everyone gave a really strange look. Then a few seconds later, someone said, "You can't hear footprints. You can hear footsteps."
That would be Evan's mistake, right? Yes, definitely.
Renassia,
I am pacing back and forth.
two things for you, Renassia. One, Foofer is back there still. Staying here.
He can come in his own time.
Okay, I did not know if you were going to carry him or not.
Well, he's with Lila. I trust. Oh,
He
look.
starts
Here he
slowly slinking towards you all, with a suspicious, slightly mischievous look on his face.
What's the matter? Tired?
Did you make a poo-poo on the bad person?
He licks his lips and sniffles.
He ate the bad person. Ew. Unless he ate the poo-poo and then that'd be bad.
I pet him on the head. It's the only way to talk anyway.
As you touch his head to stroke, you hear his voice in your head again saying, "Are they always this stupid?"
Well,
they... I really don't know what to say.
And you hear his voice in your head saying, "You know they can hear you when you reply, right?"
Why do you think I'm not saying anything more?
And the rest of you look at her like, what the fuck is she on? So the boat
It's okay,
draws a
we
bit
forgive you,
closer.
Ignacia.
The boat draws a bit closer, and old Tolly beckons you all into the boat. And he says, there you are. Glad you're all still here. Lucky I could make it, really. I almost couldn't leave town.
What's wrong?
We were damn near another riot last night. Things are going from bad to worse.
You mean it got crazy without us being there?
It were crazy with.
Oh.
Whole town's going to hell from all I can see.
Well, it's a good thing we're sane.
Right.
I look at him strangely.
Or
Look at him
Well,
strangely,
let's
yeah.
talk to you anyway. Talking to Ty.
Old age, I hope.
God.
There, you get onto the boat, and I'm standing there impatiently waiting on you all.
hold your horses. We'll get to it.
Here, Ty, here.
I'll get help getting onto the boat.
So, you all push the boat out,
Mhm.
and he begins to row you all slowly back to town. And you can all take this teleport link, and when you all have, I can delete that map, and everyone can stop complaining about there being so many maps in the campaign file. And there's not that many maps. There could be many more. But this will hopefully make it one less.
One moment. I'm still on the map. Because I'm on my token.
I can tell that.
Yep.
As the boat approaches, down the river, coming in from the west, you see the old gibbet swinging on the corner near the booklayers and some of the piers. You come in, knowing that to your left on the bank is the Stane, where you could go get drinks and the occasional meal. Rowing in past the bridge until you finally find a place to stay. As the boat draws in on this soggy, rainy day, people are generally avoiding each other in the streets, watching suspiciously. There are murmured whispers in small huddles. You get the feeling that everyone is watching everyone, waiting for something to happen. Whatever it is, the mood in the town is not good.
Oh, it's East Germany during the Cold War then.
And then you have me jollily walking, humming a little tune, working on my next story.
I wonder why everybody is so tense.
Mm.
Is there a TP and a wigwam?
Ah well, regardless, Eric, I believe you are to retrieve something.
Just so you know, Scott, I did move your token for a reason there.
There's something underneath it. I thought it was someone's character.
Nope, it's bird.
Oh yeah,
Word.
the peacock. I'll just put it over here. Tolly bids you good day and says he'll be going out to try and get a bit of fishing down now. Pulls his cap down over his face to help keep the rain out of his eyes, and slowly rows away, giving
Thank
you
you
all
for
a
your help.
very suspicious look over his shoulder as he goes.
You know, This would make a great story. We could call it The Old Man in the Sea. I just don't know how to tell it right yet.
Well,
Considering that's not
anyone?
a sea, it's a river.
I just wonder why they keep giving us such suspicious looks.
Anyone want to give me a perception check right
oh,
now?
yeah, let's see. Perception, skill checks.
Wouldn't you give us strange looks? I know I would. Well, it's not every day that strange people like us walk down the street.
Oh wow. So Gregor, Lila, and Azure. I was looking for like a 17 or 18. You all hear the boom of a window shutter that was maybe like half an inch open, being pulled shut suddenly, but surreptitiously.
That could be assassins or something. Take a look around, so. Bit dodgy. Dorothy?
Why?
Okay.
They don't like us, so why would that be odd?
Well, why don't you like us?
Virgil says, they didn't like us before we went to the asylum. They probably like us even less now.
Alright, I guess
Yeah.
I'm being called away.
Oh, okay, mate. We'll put you kind of in the background and come back to you when you return. I do have a nice little list that you all provided me with of things you wanted to do when you return to town.
A nice long walk bath until my toes go wrinkly.
So I take it you'll be going back to the Silver Wagon then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
for now.
No, I meant particularly Paul, so Lila could go have a bath in the Silver Wagon.
Yeah, it'll be there for about 2 hours lying in the tub and the suds and just going,
Okay, so you trudge back through the streets towards the Silver Wagon. I don't know if any of your companions are coming with you. You know what? Virgil will come back towards the Silver Wagon for now.
I could be going in that
As-
direction.
As you head in that direction, your eyes fall upon Fort Halecourse up on the hill, looking lonely and imposing and powerful, you know, throwing its dominant presence over the town. Also, you know, the big mansion up here on the hill. Something that is not very visible on this map is it does actually have a hedge all around the grounds. It's quite a high hedge, but you can see the top of the buildings over the hedge.
Hey, that's like that story about the bunny and the cards. You learn about these things when you're a tarot reader. Or, excuse me, harrow reader.
I give a shit about that.
Oh, would any of you like to have your fortune read?
I take 3 steps away from him.
Her.
Well, him as far as I'm concerned.
Pardon?
Okay, now that's something very interesting I'll need to remember for the future. Right.
I did not catch anything that Paul said.
Apparently Lila thinks Azure is a man. That will be interesting in the future.
No, I just saw like she's trying to insult me by a tarot card, so I'm just throwing a bar back.
I'm not trying to insult you.
I know you're not.
Scott's gone, right?
My character is thinking, no, you know, in characters that, yeah, I just don't do tarot cards.
Yes,
Okay.
Scott has had to step away for a moment. He'll be back when he can.
Well, allow me to put this in a visual perspective for some people, okay? My character is fairly attractive, yet has blue hair, and carries a doll, and seems all bright and shiny and nice person, yet you are the one dressed like a goth chick, and you are offended by someone saying something about Harrow.
Yes.
What's a goth and chick? I wasn't aware she was a baby.
That's why I'm describing this out of character. I said, let me put this in perspective for people.
Yeah. My
This
character's
is
no
an out
pro-
of character speculation here.
my character's no problem with the character until it comes to the Harrow part. Then we
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So just to remember, Glenn,
Yes.
what did you want to do?
I am heading over to the church.
Okay. In the meantime, Lila is getting ready to have a nice long soak in a warm, soapy bath from the Silver Wagon.
Oh, lovely.
And Azure was heading back towards the Silver Wagon as well. I believe Eric was wanting to head off towards the High Market, and Renasia was heading there with him and wanting to stop off at the Sleepless Building along the way. Is there anyone I've missed out at this point?
Well, I wanted to say that while I'm en route to the bar, to the tavern inn, I will be looking for any sort of town guard. I can ask for information on where to go in town for something we previously inquired about.
Okay, I can safely let you know that you do not see a single town guard. Now, were we playing face to face here, I would roll some dice behind the screen, look at them, ignore them, and then tell you you do not find a single town guard.
Or anyone else that looks like they might be in the know.
Again, depends. Well, while you think about that, Gregor arrives at New Chapel, and you can hear a bit of a commotion from inside. Raised voices in discordant dissonance. A bit of a clamorous din. Not entirely massively out of hand, but it sounds like people are struggling to keep the situation under control.
Oh, great. Okay, head in.
Alright, you step through the doors into the beautiful chapel to find a number of the inmates clearly having an altercation. Captain Voston York is doing his best, and a few of the orderlies, Nesa Valika, the former nurse, are doing their best to calm things down. Winter, while present, looks stressed. Her hair is a bit dishevelled, and she looks like she hasn't had much sleep recently. In fact, Captain York also looks like he's feeling the strain of trying to look after everybody here. It looks like it's going to take a few more minutes to get sorted out, but the altercation has definitely passed its peak and now is in the people, not quite throwing a strop, but still kind of sulking and kind of snapping at each other sort of stage.
Mm-hmm. The verbal aftermath, really, you say.
Yeah. You almost feel greatly relieved that you missed the height of it.
Yeah, especially in the condition I'm in.
In fact, you even see Elgriel Nasmith there, rocking in a corner, knees drawn up to his chest, arms wrapped around his knees, and he's muttering, "They're coming out of the walls, man! They're coming out of the walls!"
Who took his mask off?
Captain York turns and says, "What? Oh, it's you. Oh, yeah, he got it off. Look, it's too many of these people to look after all in one go. We need help here."
Raph, did I just go along with them?
Nope.
I have no idea.
Nope. You were going with Eric towards
Eric?
the marketplace. Yeah.
Huh. Well, then I guess I'll start staying here at the chapel with you to help you guys out some. Did you guys get the food and stuff that I sent?
Winter brushes a stray strand of hair from her face and looks across to you, and she says, "What? Oh yes, thank you. That was most kind. It's been very helpful. We're struggling a bit as it is here."
So what happened?
Oh well, York, have you got this? And York bites his lip and nods, and she motions of her head for you to follow her to somewhere a little more secluded, like the nave or one of the kind of cloistered walks
I'll start following her. I'm using the sword Red Destiny pretty much as a crutch, because right now I do not have much strength.
You notice, as you follow her, the sway of her hips and the way she moves. It's somewhat more sensual than you would expect for a member of the clergy. Also, based on past experiences, you also know she's fairly unaware of this. And it's not intentional.
I will point it out. I will just enjoy the view.
Uh-huh. And what an attractive view it is. And when she leads you into a small little side room and turns to face you, and the light highlights her features, it's an even more beautiful view. And she licks her lips and says, well, Elgrir Nasmith got out and he managed to get his mask off, and he saw something. He smashed a mirror earlier, and it frightened some of the children. There was a shouting fit with one of the other inmates. I don't know how best to describe it. He's been fairly. It wasn't him though. Mostly it was an argument over food.
I will see if I can keep at least a regular supply of food coming to you guys for as long as I'm here.
Thank you. Your assistance is most appreciated. I've been looking into some of the old records while I could. I don't have much, and it's barely time I get a moment to myself. How have you been keeping? And she reaches across and lays her hand on your forearm and looks you in the eyes fairly intently.
Well, we have been the Sleepless Agency has been keeping us busy. They sent us out on a mission just recently. I have suffered some effects from a poison. There's a ghost or specter in the city that we need to lay to rest eventually, and he hurt Lady Catherine quite a bit, but other than that, we've been doing quite well.
I see.
Seems like we're having a slightly easier time than you are dealing with this. We're dealing with just mad witches with crazy magic.
Oh, well, I'm glad at least one of us is having a good time.
Yeah.
You look pretty terrible, by the way.
I am very weakened from that poison, but I figured you guys could use help here. We had not checked in with you at all to see if you needed any help or what else you need here at the chapel.
Bedding. Bedding would be helpful.
I will look into that.
I see Lady Catherine is not with you at the moment. That is wise, not to flaunt her in front of the inmates.
I never have. I need to bring her out, which I do have to bring her out eventually. She was badly injured in that fight, so I have to.
Perhaps I could be of assistance in that regard.
Okay. I will bring her out.
This brings a new meaning to the world's outing. A character.
Winter takes a step back and watches somewhat tight-lipped and tensely as you begin to perform the summoning ritual. You feel the temperature in the room drop, and slowly the spirit materializes before you until it is present. At which point, sensing the urgency of the situation, Winter steps forwards and lays her hands upon the form of Lady Catherine. And I need to double check something here, because that's very interesting. Ah, there we go, right, okay.
Which I need to pull that up. Well, that is a huge help.
Yeah, it's almost as if colour returns to the spirit's cheeks, and you see her chest rise and swell with air, and the eyes of the spirit flutter open. Winter steps back, almost as if the experience has somewhat drained her, and she says, "There. I hope now she is at least somewhat restored."
Yes. Also, if I can impose on you one more thing. That wand that you have.
Of course, it's almost depleted now, but I'll see what I can do. Are you more in need, or is she?
You do her first.
Very
Mine
well.
will eventually come back over time. It's just a poison that must leave my system.
I see. I don't believe there's much I can do for her at this point. She does not appear...
She has one negative level, Raph.
I know.
Oh.
I know this.
Ah.
Winter, on the other hand, may take some time to realise. It's not as if the words negative level are floating
Yeah.
above Lady Catherine's head. I see, she appears somewhat drained.
Yeah, it's the attack by the spectre caused that. I'm not exactly sure what it does.
This may require a greater power than the goddess is willing to bestow upon me at this time. It is unfortunate. If you wish, I could write to Caliphas for a scroll that may, bearing a blessing, that may assist this situation, but obviously that would take time. And how are you doing? Lady Catherine's eyes open, and, well, they are open, but they're moving between the two of you with an almost searching expression on her face.
Other than the poison in my system and just the craziness of everything, groups, people, the city. I'm not too sure about what's going on in the city.
Oh, she says, you haven't heard the half of it yet.
It just seems to be a very wary time to be.
There was another disappearance last night.
Oh, Jesus. Was it a child?
No, it wasn't one of ours. It was one of the townsfolk. A few of our inmates had got loose and may have witnessed something to do with the disturbance, but we haven't been able to get anything meaningful out of them. As you know, the fortress up on the hill, the soldiers in the fortress have not come down in any attempt to restore order into the town since before I went to the asylum to try and find your companions. Oh, I'd almost forgotten. I said I'd been looking through some of the old reports. I haven't been able to find any proof of this second Gregor you believe must have been at the asylum. I'm sorry. He may have perished, or I do not know.
It may be me. I do not know. There's so many factors that are leaning towards it was me, but it just does not seem. My memory and what's going on is not the same. So it might be best to. There is a lower level to this chapel, correct?
Yes, there is. It's a fairly new building, so the lower portion is not... Well, the old chapel would be more likely to have, supplies and stores and crypts and catacombs down below. This one, it's more empty lower chambers that have not yet been fully furnished.
I will see about getting furnishings. It might be a better idea to move the former residents down below. That way, in case the townspeople decide to stick blame on individuals that are new, and they decide to come here with, tar and feather and pitchforks and torches, you can always have that area.
Well, I must say, trying as these times are, Dr. Wren has been a godsend. It is so helpful to have him here, assisting us in looking after the inmates.
Well, that is good. And I will look into the bedding, and if that wand will not help Lady Catherine, I would not mind the
Of
uses
course.
of it.
Now stand still. This might tickle a little. Steady now.
Mhm.
And she places the tip of the wand upon your body and performs the incantation. You may restore 3 points to a single ability score that has ability damage.
Yay, I'm up to a 7 con.
You are indeed, and it feels so much better than a 4.
Mm-hmm.
You also sense relief upon her face as the energy flows back into you and you feel renewed once more.
Alright, I will work on the bedding.
You do that, and would you do me a personal favour?
Yes.
Well, I came to this town with Sika Omari, who had, conscripted my assistance for her investigation.
Mm-hmm.
When last I saw her, she was heading up to Fort Halecourse to question the authorities there. And according to the Sleepless Agency, she has not returned. If you find any evidence that she might be somewhere, I would appreciate it if you let me know. And if she is in danger and some form of rescue operation is required, I would be willing to offer aid in such a circumstance. I would like to be there for her if I can.
Alright, I will look into that matter.
Thank you. You're very kind.
So I'll make sure I get more food and bedding for the inmate. How many inmates did we bring back?
About 40 or 50.
Alright, I'll work on that.
We'll also need to sort out some kind of washing day soon as well, I imagine. I'll try and find that a way of making it fun for them. Lots of bubbles and games and things to take their mind off the situation.
Alright, I will have them come back. I will have that stuff delivered, or I'll have to deliver it myself, depending on how individuals feel.
Alright, now may the goddess watch over your path.
Thank you, and I will
Take care.
summon Lady Catherine. That way she's not visible when I go through the...
Of course. Where are you planning on going from here? I'll skip to someone else in a moment. I'm just kind of checking what your sort of statement of intent is.
High Market.
Alright, now, other people. So that you don't all feel forgotten. Hopefully it wasn't too long. Lila is still enjoying her luxurious bath.
Oh, yes.
Well, what about the rest of you? Who would like to go next? I know Scott wanted Eric to head towards the market as well, and Renacia was heading with him. Evan, what was Azure doing? and it's all gone really quiet.
I'm looking for directions to a toy maker other than Pagoni's character.
Ah, okay.
Other than Virgil.
You look, and you aren't able to find any. You look for people to ask, and you notice they kind of shy away from you and avoid you as you approach.
I'll even ask for a wood carver. Would also suffice.
Eventually, after hassling the local folk, you hear there isn't a carpenter who lives on down near Farmer's Square.
Oh. Well, thank you, kind person.
Yeah, Farmer's Square where all the little hobbits live and they sell their produce at market. They've got little allotments in their back gardens, and there's a carpenter down that way.
I'll ask the person. Does the people here fear fortune tellers?
You ask, but they're already moving away. They've just told you where a carpenter is, and clearly
Okay.
they don't feel confident enough to continue
Gotcha.
speaking to you at this point.
I'll make my way there, and you can go to someone else.
Okay, so
Slow.
Scott and Cassandra, are you both there?
I am.
I am.
Alright, so you head off towards the market. As you do, you get this sense of people watching and a general sort of unease. No one directly approaches you.
Eric, stop looking so scary.
You know what? I am going to check on something. Cassandra, Renacia notices a young girl watching her who seems to be kind of following her. And I say kind of following her because it doesn't seem like, you know, being stalked or being trailed, but more kind of a sort of half-hearted, nervous following. She's a young girl with dark hair cut short, not dissimilar to yours actually, dressed in slightly raggedy clothes, and she's avoiding getting too close. She doesn't seem as... She seems nervous, but not quite as... It's hard to describe. There's something different about her demeanour.
I look at her curiously, maybe then give her a slight wave,
She
just to show that I'm not intimidating.
She offers a smile and a nervous half-wave, then turns away as if she's ashamed or embarrassed.
Strange.
You see her kind of chewing the corner of her lip there in an alleyway. You'd say she's in her early teens, sort of 13, 14-ish. It's hard to put an exact age on her.
Well, seems she wouldn't want to approach me now, so continue on my way with Eric in tow.
Well, Eric is fuming and stomping towards the marketplace.
Eric, calm down, please.
I am calm.
You mean stomping your foot like a child is calm?
I'm not destroying anything, am I?
Maybe the ground, yes. Come now, I'm sure you can tread a little more lightly for someone your size. Come along, you are not an ogre.
I'm just going to make this visible. Yeah. Just... Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You can even have a handout to look at. All of you. There you go. There's our young girl in her early teens.
Holding a knife that's spearing a turnip. Lovely.
Oh,
Turnip.
that was a radish.
It's a very big radish, but I was thinking more of a radish, yeah. I was like, that's a turnip? How big is this one?
Turnips can be small, you know.
They can, I know.
Very many varieties of turnips that probably exist and don't exist in this world.
Well, you know, the hobbits on the side of town might breed special teeny tiny turnips that are like have a really special flavour for cooking purposes.
Anyway, I'd rather Eric not grumble so much and stomp around. But let's make our way and hopefully claim his sword as soon as possible with as little incident as possible.
You arrive in the marketplace and manage to find your way to the pawnbroker's stall, and there is the battered old sword, you know, still at the back of his, I won't quite say shop because it's not a regular building, but, you know, at the back of his stall. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we go in and
He sees you coming and edges back nervously.
I walk up to the counter, put my hands on it.
now.
Sword.
Are you sure, Eric, that this is indeed your sword?
Look at it closely. I think it is. Looks like it.
Think it is. Looks like it.
The man behind the stall trembles and he says, oh yes, this is the man who pawned this sword. But he has to get the ticket before he can claim it.
What ticket?
Oh, good.
I
That's
wrote
good
you
to
a
hear.
receipt.
I don't remember no receipts.
Please, Eric. Are you telling me you don't have it? Search! Good man. It must be there. It must be in some. What little clothes you have somewhere.
You said as how it wouldn't be much use to you where you were going next.
It's used to me now.
It was the day before you left town.
I don't remember leaving town either.
Well, you must have left because you came back.
Yeah.
How can you not remember leaving town?
I don't know. Well, I've had this problem before. Some lady at the Silver Wagon kept telling me that I owed her money. I don't remember owing her money.
I must admit, not a lot of our friends, nor myself and Eric, the owner of that sword, remembers a lot of what happened the previous few days. But if you would please, if you know this is the man that pawned you his sword, would it be possible to perhaps return it before things get a little bit out of hand?
Well, I don't know. I've got a business here and a process. He looks around nervously. He says, if I do this, it could set a precedent, and then anyone could turn up claiming things. It's all useful to have the paperwork because that way, nobody can accuse me of improper business practices. I could lose my pitch.
I very much understand that, but a business is no use without. And I am very regretful to say this, but a business is no use without its owner. Which I am very sure this man is very, very prone to resorting to. Now,
Here,
you're that
girl, aren't you?
Yes.
That one what used to be working and him. Oh goodness! Oh heavens!
Is there something you'd like to tell me?
Not if you don't remember it.
I'm afraid I would very much like to know.
I don't know too much for sure, but I heard about you two. Bad things you used to get up to, very bad things. Didn't you get arrested?
Who, me?
No, him.
Impossible.
Well, you as well. Yeah, there was a punch up at the Silver Wagon a while ago, and then there was that other matter where the magistrate was looking for you two and some of your acquaintances. It was a very serious investigation.
I don't remember any of this, but I do remember that's my sword.
It was lucky you left town when you did. I was somewhat reluctant to take on this sword. It could be evidence. The magistrate came by a few days later and asked about it. Even had a look at it too.
Well, let's put it this way. You still have the evidence, and they could still come back for the evidence. Would you still like to keep it? And perhaps prostrate yourself as an accomplice?
What?
Look, would you like to keep your head or not?
Oh, yes, I absolutely would, lady. Don't do it.
You should not. You should be more worried about this man here, who is indeed getting angrier by the minute.
He snatches up the sword in its scabbard with both hands and thrusts it forward and says, "Here, take the blasted thing. I don't want to have anything more to do with it no more. It's been nothing but trouble ever since I got it."
Thank you, good sir.
Oh, since being
we shall
so kind and
take our
returning
leave.
my sword that
Take
I did. I'm gonna do this. I'll drop a bag that has coins in it onto the counter.
He stares in bewilderment, then snatches up the bag and backs away towards the back of his enclosure. Eyes, just bulging out of his head in terror, as he just stares at you wordlessly.
And I walk
Now.
out the store.
Let us leave. Thank you again, and let's keep this between us. Yes? Goodbye. Dragging Eric along with me out the door, because everything is awkward there.
I stop at the door and pull the scythe off my back, put the sword in its place, and then toss the scythe back into the room, and walk out.
Face palm.
The scythe clatters loudly on the floor, causing the man to jump half out of his skin. And as you step outside, you feel the reassuringly familiar weight of the sword on your back, although it feels neglected, as if it hasn't been well cared for these last few days. Stepping out into the sunshine of the marketplace, you both see that young girl watching you both again, very intently.
Well, Eric, are you satisfied now? What?
Eric seems so overwhelmed with joy at recovering his sword that he doesn't even seem to respond to the question.
Yeah. Take a look at my character name.
Oh, goodness me. Sorry, I'm laughing at something else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very curious as to this girl that keeps staring at us. I think I shall take a little step towards her and gesture to say, as if to say, "Is it okay if I come over to talk?"
She takes a couple of nervous steps back, then stops and dips her head slightly.
Yes. No. I guess.
And then she edges a bit closer.
I calmly step towards her and just get on one knee and just to speak with her. No, as long as I'm not towering over her.
Okay. She approached a bit closer, and she timidly opens her lips, and this almost frightened voice comes out. And it says, hi, Miss Renacia. You probably don't remember me. Do you like the hair? And she runs her fingers over it lightly. And you realise that from her mannerisms, the way she's been, holding her head and moving, she's used to it being considerably longer.
It's very nice. But why did you cut it that way?
You mean you don't know?
I'm afraid there's not much I remember at the moment.
Your-
Why don't you jog my memory?
Your blue-haired friend did it for me. It looked so good on you, and I wanted to be strong like you and solve people's problems and investigate things and find things out. You've always been such an impressive, amazing woman, and I just wanted to be more like you.
Oh, I don't know. As flattering as that is, it seems a lot of people are very aware of me, and as I can't seem to remember, I'm not sure why.
Well, you used to work for Count Lowell's, didn't you?
From what I have found in my investigations, yes. I'm not sure what that quite means.
Well, he was the Count. He was responsible for running of the town. And sometimes you and your friends would do things for him.
Things like?
I was wondering if you could help me. I really need your help, and there's no one else I'd rather turn to. In all honesty, you really don't remember me?
I'm very sorry. Something happened, and I just can't seem to remember a thing. Why don't you reintroduce yourself?
It's all right. I'm not very important, not very memorable. My name's Halissa, and she gives you this gap-toothed smile.
I smile back at her and say, "It's a pleasure to meet you again, Halissa."
It's my brother, my big brother, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
He's gone missing, and I want to find him. I want him to be safe again. I don't know what's happened, but he's been gone these last few days now.
All right, calm down, slow.
I'll help if you like. I'd like to find him and take him home safely. If please, he's been gone 3 days now.
All right, calm down.
I'll give a reward if you find him and bring him home safely. There's our grandfather's old shield. It's made of mithril, and it's a really good shield, really impressive. We could give you that if you bring him back safely. It's just my brother Sean. He's been gone so long, and I'm really worried now.
Melissa, slow down, calm. Where did you last see your brother, or do you know where he went?
He was out fishing with some of the other fishermen, and then they went to the Stane late in the evening, and the others say that he left to come home, and he never got back home. I don't know what happened.
The Stane. That was where he was last seen.
Well, it's where I've last been able to find anything about him. They laughed at me there, didn't take me very seriously. I think they were drunk.
I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I am.
You should go there. You haven't been there for a while.
I'm sure they would be happy to. At least I hope they'll be happy to see me. Now, Alyssa.
Your husband's been asking after you.
Who?
Your husband.
No, that's funny.
What? Wait, what? Evan?
Now that's funny.
Oh, my husband?
Yeah, you two are always, together, laughing, drinking, playing cards and stuff. Everyone just thought you were married. You carry on with, the things you got up to.
My mouth is open in shock. All right. Well, now I really have to go there. And gosh, I really wish I could remember everything.
Oh, it's all
Right,
right.
Clarissa.
Sometimes I forget things as well,
Oh, not clearly not as bad as me or my friends. Regarding that, I would be happy to help you and find your brother, but I'd also need to see my friends, see if they'll come along with me. I would say that I bring you along, except I'm not sure what we'll meet along the way, and it could be very dangerous.
I'll come if you'll let me. I don't know if I'd be a lot of use, but I'd
Well?
like to help.
Well, come along with me for the moment and meet my new friends. I'm sure they're all at the Silver Wagon. Right.
She sniffs and wipes her nose on the back of her sleeve and nods and falls into step behind you.
Don't worry, we'll find your brother, Sean. We'll
Sean.
find Sean.
Thank you. Yeah, trust me, when the adventure author spells it Shon, I have to guess how it's supposed to be pronounced.
Shon.
LN.
L.
Yeah.
Oh, Sean.
Sean.
Whoa. Jeez.
I know, right?
There's a reason why I can't remember half the names here.
Trust me, at least it's not Night Below, where you'd have NPCs with names like Jelenef and Elamenefenica, and it's like they've all like 4 or 5 syllables long just to take the fucking piss, and it's like, guys, take it easy,
Guys, stop.
A wizard called Tauster.
All right.
Or called toaster sometimes.
Mm.
So stop. For short.
NPC names aside, it was a really fun campaign to be part of. We should
I
try and
know.
revive it at some point. So, were you then heading towards the Stain or the Silver Wagon, and where was Eric going?
No
I was
idea.
standing back against the wall, waiting on her to get done with her conversation.
Oh, okay.
I'm a
You
bit more
see,
relaxed now that I got my sword.
when they finish speaking, the girl kind of falls into step behind her as if she's some kind of servant or page.
I lead Halissa towards Eric and introduce them. Halissa, this is Eric. Despite his really intimidating size, he won't hurt you.
The girl says, "Hello," and offers a nervous grin.
I grunt at her, and then turn to start walking in the direction that we're going next.
We're going to Silver Wagon, Eric. Don't worry, he's always like that. At least, as far as I know.
Oh, that's all right. Didn't he get arrested?
So I've heard.
I can't remember. The magistrate was looking for him, wanted to arrest him, but we haven't seen the magistrate for days now. He hasn't been outside his castle.
Well, that certainly doesn't sound good. Guess we'll have to look into that as well. No.
The soldiers
Silver
haven't come
Wagon.
down from the castle for, almost half a moon now.
That's quite a long time.
People is worried, miss. Mrs., sorry, if you're married, it's Mrs., right?
But you can refer to me as however you wish. But you was worried about what? Eric?
Oh, we're all worried about him, Mom.
I'm always worried.
And with that,
Do you know what the Magister was worried about? As we're walking towards the silver wagon, by the way.
it was something pretty serious, Mom. Some man, some fellow got beaten to death in an alley.
And I assume this was some drunken fight that was mentioned.
Oh no, Mom. There was weapons used and everything. Horrible sight. None of us got to see the body. Apparently it was too revolting for any of us to be allowed to have a look.
You're telling me that whoever this victim is was pummeled to death?
I don't know, miss. I didn't get a good look at the body.
That's alright, you probably wouldn't want to see it anyway.
Probably not. I don't think I could look at something like that, and it changes you, you know, when you see something like that. But I want to be brave. I want to be strong. I want to find my brother Sean, and then we can be happy again.
In your own time, Alyssa. Don't rush. And I'm muttering to the side, oh goodness, Eric, what did you do? Do we reach the silver eventually?
Alright, is that just a standard weapon?
No, it's remarkably well made, but it's also rusty and in a terrible state of repair. So you can consider it to be a master-crafted two-handed sword, but with the broken condition at the moment.
You can get it fixed, right?
Yeah, there's even this place called Binter's Smithy that you might want to go to at some point, get it fixed up. I'd even have to look at the town notes and see what Binter's Smithy is, but hey, I think I vaguely remember it.
Vaguely.
Oh, that's nothing. Lenk fucking Maris. One of the townsfolk is called Lenk Maris. He's got portrait art and everything. Doesn't feature in the adventure once, but apparently he's not even one of the most important NPCs in town. But apparently they just had to provide me with portrait art for him.
Okay.
So you make it back to the Silver Wagon, where Lila is still upstairs enjoying her bath, and Virgil has gone out back to his workshop. Azure isn't around, but fortunately Gregor is on his way back and has probably arrived by now, unless he was going somewhere else. Glenn, was Gregor going somewhere else?
Just to pick up some items.
In my head, I'm trying to work out what it would sound like if I was to sing the Don't Split the Party song backwards as you're starting to reunite.
I am heading over to the High Mart just to pick up the items and some extra food.
Okay, so yeah, absolutely. You're heading over there to purchase some food and bedding, you know, soap, general useful things to help look after the helpless. So that'll take you a little bit of a while then. Okay, so Eric, Renacia and Holyssa make it back to the Silver Wagon, where Dina Galagos is out in front of the bar. You can smell the smells of warm cooking coming from the kitchen. It smells positively succulent. Yeah, I can use words that don't normally fall into everyday conversation. Thank you very much.
Better than some of us, anyway.
Sometimes it's nice to see them back in use, you know.
Oh yes, definitely. Sometimes I just look at a dictionary and think, you know, I could use that word more, just to puzzle everyone and have this sense of haha, word. Anyway, remind me, Dana Galagos is...
She's the owner of the Silver Wagon. The proprietor, if you will.
Because I don't want to get that wrong.
See, I can use the word proprietor.
Proprietor.
Possibly proprietress, actually, but I'd have to check up on that one.
I wouldn't know if that exists. But I speak to her anyway, as and inquire as to the whereabouts of my companions who have separated once more. Ugh.
She says, Well, the moody one with the emotional problems is upstairs having a bath.
There's thunder singing and splashing going on.
Smashing. Okay.
Splashing. Splashing water.
What the hell does she do in the bath?
Your tired friend with the red sword scabbard mentioned something about going off to New Chapel. The strange woman with the blue hair has gone off around town. I don't know what she's up to. Well, the big bloke's right behind you, Mom. Didn't he get arrested?
I don't know. What did he get arrested for?
Murder. At least that's what I heard.
And I mutter again with my head with my face in my hand. What did you do, Eric? Anyway, it's good to hear that at least two of them are here. Anyway, I know Eric. I know the big man is behind me. Gosh, I hope the others don't take too long till they come back.
I thought Eric wasn't allowed back in that hotel. Or that inn.
Oh.
I believe you paid his debt off for him.
I still thought she said he wasn't allowed in. Because he refused to.
She is giving him a bit of a stern look over your shoulder, actually.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, at least perhaps we should just sit here until they make it back. Whenever that is.
Okay, you sit, and it's a very uncomfortable silence in the tap room.
Mm-hmm.
As the other few remaining patrons give you strange stares, and the place is fairly empty this early on in the... Well, it's kind of afternoon, getting towards evening now, so it's beginning to... A crowd is beginning to grow, but the place doesn't feel very full just yet.
A sound of happy singing comes from my room, and, as I'm enjoying myself in the bath.
Is that
very happy.
pretty loud that we can hear downstairs?
I'm not sure it's that audible downstairs.
I don't know. Some people can be really loud apparently because my mother keeps complaining whenever I go on these sessions. I'm extra loud.
I mean, I wouldn't say actually hear the words.
She can hear downstairs. It's embarrassing.
Okay.
Alright. I'll be right back. Mom just asked me to go sweep the bus off before it gets too dark.
Alright, man.
Great. Cool. Well, I turned to Alyssa and asked, are you hungry by any chance?
Oh, yes, Mom. I haven't had a proper meal since yesterday.
Oh, wow. That is incredibly long.
You sense that when she said proper meal, she meant like a proper healthy meal, and she might have had some kind of snack since.
Proper food. I would like to purchase a meal. How much does it cost for a nice meal? Or a
I have
proper meal?
no idea. Why doesn't one of us look it up? That's probably going to be me, isn't it? I should definitely get a kind of standardized list of food and lodgings costs sorted so I can make you guys pay proper maintenance upkeep costs for, living expenses. Don't worry, I'm nearly there. Just finding my way to, a nice fancy meal out of the kitchen. Now, this place should cost around, say, she's a bit on the young side, and it's not, it's just a single meal. So, say 2 or 3 silver pieces.
Great. I'll get her something to eat then.
I'll
get her a nice meal.
Obviously you're going to have to wait for it to be cooked up and prepared, but something nice will be coming her way, and indeed in about 20 or 30 minutes' time, Dina walks over with a nice big plate with a massive slice of pie on it, and and a spoon and a knife so the girl can eat. And Holissa tucks in with the appetite of one who has not eaten properly in quite a few days for worry about her brother and, maybe a short lack of kitchen supplies as well.
Now, don't eat too good. Don't eat too quickly, Haliso. You'll make yourself sick.
I won't eat too hard.
Oh, sorry, that is precious.
Okay.
Would
She
you
then does
let
that
me-
thing where she spoon of food in her mouth, and then opens her mouth because it's so hot. Doesn't put the food back out on the spoon. Kind of opens her mouth like,
Well, at least you know it's fresh out of the kitchen.
She closes her mouth again, smiles, and a sort of slightly lopsided smile, and grins at you and chews.
Good God, I'm getting too attached to this girl. I'm saying that in my head, okay?
You say that in your head, but Floofer kind of smirks at you.
Oh, shut it.
And as he nuzzles up against you, you hear his voice in your head saying, I wonder if she tastes very nice. I could crunch her bones in a dark alley late one night.
Ugh. I kind of I bring my hand down and kind of just ooh, what you know the gesture, the action of button smashing, except with someone's head.
I'm not entirely sure, but okay.
It's just like, pushing, really pushing, just pushing his head down a little bit, not right into the ground. It's just push.
You hear him sort of clenching and grinding his teeth a little, but then he goes quiet.
No, is my answer. No, you're a bad dog, but you're not allowed to do that. You can crunch something else when. Sorry. I'll shut up now. I'm not supposed to say too much.
Yeah, that's an interesting sentence.
Hmm.
And I just give him a glare and say, and just like, with mouth, no. Anyway, moving on to Glenn, because he's separated as well.
Yeah,
or
after a
maybe Evan.
while, after a while, Gregor returns to the Silver Wagon, having done his shopping and organised supplies. Lila is still in her bath, but shouldn't be too much longer now.
No, it's just getting dry. Still singing happy. I'm brushing my hair at the moment.
Uncharacteristically happy, almost.
Very
Yeah.
much so. Never seen her so happy, ever.
Well, no one has, because she's in the room on her own.
Exactly, but in here she's happy.
Evan, you there?
I've been here for about an hour now.
Okay. Would you like to play out your little adventure on the
You
town?
were headed towards
Y'all
the
have been going, so yeah. Farmer's
towards the
Square.
Farmer's Square, yeah. And you eventually find the old cottage where the carpenter lives. He's got a bit of a rasping cough, which you can hear as you approach. And you hear the voice of a young woman trying to comfort him and calm him down. The young woman's voice says, "One moment,"
Okay.
and then she comes to the door. You see a middle-aged man recovering from a coughing fit, sitting in the, on a bench on the far side of the room behind a table, and the young woman, clearly his daughter, there's a distinct family resemblance, ushers you in. She says, yeah, what is it?
Well, before I ask, does he need help? I could go to the priest.
Help, says the man. I don't need no help. I'll be fine. Just breathed in quite a lot of sawdust. I'm getting it out of my system. Ha ha ha!
Okay. Look at her,
I'm
and
gonna
does she actually look concerned, or?
Yeah, of course she looks concerned. She's his daughter. He says, look. She says, look, he's got a big order on at the moment. Lots of table legs needed turning. It's gonna be a while.
I don't suppose you know someone who can, other than that Virgil person who has his own toy shop. I suppose you know anyone who can like carve up a knight in armor. Not carve up a knight who's wearing armor, but carve up a small wooden toy of a knight in armor, but with no horse, just the guy, the figure. Say, I have this one, and I want a knight, not a barbarian, not a savage. But if he's too busy, I guess I could go to the toy maker, but it's just
Well, the
his
man
bird has leprosy, and I don't want anything.
the man
to do
coughs
with
so more, and then he stops at leprosy.
Yeah, the bird is like molting bad. Pieces are falling, or it's decaying, or something. I don't know, and I just don't want that on my stuff.
Okay, so bearing in mind that the bird isn't actually molting yet because the disease is still in the onset phase and it hasn't got that bad.
I'm not sure. I wasn't sure how bad it's gotten.
Not very bad yet.
But I've heard him say it.
No, it has been said multiple times. I'm just making sure you know
My bird
that.
is leprous, and I'm like, okay. I just, I don't want anything from his shop if his bird's got some ailment. It's like he's got cooties or something. I don't know. Or whatever the word would be for...
The daughter says, well, that Virgil is the only toy maker in town. If you'd like my father to carve something up, maybe if you could come back in a day or so. I'm sorry, he really needs to get these table legs done for a client.
Sure,
There's a bit of a
I can.
emergency.
It doesn't even have to look all that, like perfect. It just needs to have a rough idea so that...
The carpenter says, "This bloody useless bastard. He changes his mind about what he wants, and then he says he's his merchant, and he says he has customers cancelling their orders because he can't supply what they want, because he can't make up his mind, and then he never pays me on time. I shouldn't work for this bloke anymore. I swear I'm getting too old for this."
Well, do you need help with something?
No, I just need a day off to get some rest. Or at least half a day, that'd be a relief.
If you show me what to do, I can instruct someone to help you.
Oh, no. He shakes his head and says, no, I'll be fine. I'll get back to work soon. I just need to... And he wipes his mouth with the back of his hand, and you see, sawdust thick on the back of his hand.
Go over to her and can we talk for a minute where we won't interrupt his stuff?
She says, yes, just through here, and she ushers you into a side room where you see a bucket and a trough and some half done washing up that hasn't been finished yet.
Why don't we talk? Let me help you.
Oh, all right. And
Don't
she starts to wash, and hands you a towel or a scrubbing brush, and you begin to help out.
Mm-hmm. How long's this been going on for?
Oh, it must be about half a week now. The order came in real sudden, and it needs to be done quickly.
I know I'm being nosy, but some associates I have in town were kind of, I guess you could say, we're troubleshooters for the sleepless people, the building in town.
Ah,
And is this something that would be like, basically, who's the order for? I apologize for being nosy, but they seem kind of like slave drivers, the way you talk about
oh,
it,
I don't
or you
know.
talk about
He hasn't told me who it is this time, but I think I know. This fella is always head in the clouds, I think. Not very good at managing his money, and he's got the business demands and all, but he does often mess them up sometimes. And then my father has to go and make new things again just because the bloke's changed his mind about what he wants.
Sounds like a guy I know with a sword, or that wants a sword.
Oh, I wouldn't want someone to go through this much fuss for a sword. I mean, they're important. They're dangerous. You could get in right trouble changing your mind about what kind of sword you wanted.
I was trying to compare. Sorry.
Don't have no swords in this household. Couldn't afford them. Got no need for them. Nasty, horrible, pointy things. Do people an injury.
I meant how you compare one person's devotion to your grandfather, is it? Father?
He's my father.
His devotion to his craft. The other person has a devotion to his. You know, it's a comparison.
Aye.
That's all it was. I didn't mean you had swords here.
Wait, didn't you used to work for the Count?
I think so. But I don't remember.
See. I've heard things about you. Is how you got up into trouble in the past.
People think I'm crazy, but I'm not. I like dolls.
I see. She gives you a strange look that's kind of like, aren't you a little bit too old for that kind of look?
No. It's a fortune teller thing. It's okay.
She stops what she's doing, doesn't say anything, but just there's a pause, and then she gets back to work. You hear
I'm sorry,
coughing
but
coming from the next room.
I'll keep with your chores here. If you want to go help him, I promise I won't do anything
You sure?
odd. Yeah.
Well,
it's
you
okay.
take care. I'll be just through there if you need me. And she heads
Okay.
back to the front room, and you hear her trying to soothe her father again.
No, I'll take care of the rest of her chores for her. That's right here in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
It's the least I can do. I mean, you know. And wow, I don't want to impose on her, but wow, I'm at a loss of what to ask. You just kind of threw me for a loop.
Fortunately, I had some suitable inspiration to do this one, so yeah. So I wasn't completely making it up.
My wisdom isn't much higher than hers, or intelligence for that matter. So,
Mm-hmm. So when you are done here, on your way out, they do bid you farewell, and the daughter says maybe if you come back in 2 or 3 days' time, he'll be able to work on it. But for now, this order just needs to be finished quickly.
Well, if you've not got the time to make a meal, I can go pick something up at the inn for you, over at the wagon.
Oh yes, that'd be nice.
Well, what do y'all want?
Well, she tells you what she wants, and it's a fairly standard kind of soup. Kind of like fish head soup or trout or salmon.
And I'll step out and, sir, I'm going to get her some food from the inn. Would you like something?
He says, didn't she? Oh. He says, didn't she just order for me?
I thought it was for her.
It's for both of us.
Yes, sir. I'll add to your work order after you're done with the table legs. I'll come back in a few days, but
He says,
I'll be back in a few minutes.
It's got to be done soon. The ship sails soon.
Right. Well, good fortune to you. May Shalin shine upon the beauty of your work.
Aye. Thanks, I suppose.
Well, she's the god of crafting and beauty and stuff like that.
He gives his daughter, like, a look that says, like, I know this stuff. Is she really trying to explain this to me?
That's about all I know about her. Thank you. Well, happily depart and head to the inn.
Alright, you make your way back to the Silver Wagon, where most of your companions are back. In fact, by the time Gregor makes it back and Lila finally comes down from her bath, you are all assembled together.
Come right into the innkeep. Or right in, head up to the innkeep.
She sees you
wait,
coming
associates.
and sets herself almost slightly defiantly as if she's expecting trouble.
I kind of wave at my associates as I come walking in and kind of happy and sad at the same time. And excuse me, sir? Ma'am?
She says, that's more like it.
I didn't get their name, but the carpenter down at the Farmer Square.
Oh, yeah, I know him, yeah.
I'm here to pick up 2 orders of soup and a wineskin of whatever they normally drink. And I told them I'd buy it for them.
Right, she says. Well, that'll be 5 silver. I'll go get it all ready.
Do you know why he's? Do you have anything for like a raspy cough? Because he's inhaling a lot of the sawdust from what he's working on.
She said, I don't know, that sounds nasty. You might want to go check the healer's house for that.
Okay, I'll wait. I'll turn around and sit down and, hi guys.
Speaking of waiting, I'm just going to pop into the kitchen, grab a quick drink, and then I'll be back. Just help keep my throat working. I trust you can all see why, due to the nature of the way this session's been going so far, last week I kind of wanted to make sure as many players would be present as possible before beginning. Well, not last week, the week before, you know. It's just like, because I sensed it would be all diverging all over the place, and I wanted to make sure everyone would get the opportunity to do the things they wanted without feeling left out.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I'll be back in a little bit then.
Can people hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you. How are you, man?
I can see you're not bad.
Just got back from work.
Okay, well look, I'm just popping into the kitchen to grab a drink. I'll be back in a moment.
Okay.
So, Glenn, did you see the photo link I gave you?
No, I wasn't able to see it.
Just go to my Facebook.
Okay, what am I looking at?
Well, you're looking for the on my thread. You'll see an album I did just tonight called By Nature's Hand by Craft by Art. Look at the first picture, then look at the second picture. And you can also look at the comment I left for it as well.
Error. Damn it. What the hell is it?
Okay.
Do you see the same thing?
No.
Not the one with the colored on it, the drawing on it, but if you look back at the other one, you can see it.
I did. I really did not see it, Evan.
Okay. I guess it's because you're not an artist. I don't know.
What's this? Do you have a picture?
Yep, I'll just
Right.
send them to you.
No.
I'm back. So, apparently there were 7 fire engines down the road earlier. I didn't even know we had 7 fire engines in our town. There was no signs of fire, like no visible smoke or flames. Apparently someone was trapped in there and they had to smash down a door. And there may have been a fire at the back of the building, but I don't know all the details. It wasn't in our road, just like down the road, round the corner, not very far, like a sort of 5 or 10 minute walk. I didn't see it myself, but I heard about it, and just, wow, yeah, apparently quite an event.
In the background, frenzied screaming and flames rising up against Apparently there was a fire and I didn't know about it.
Well, more kind of right and forwardish, but yeah.
Oh god, that's not a good joke. A really, really bad joke. Yeah.
Could be worse. So, Michael, glad to have you with us. Are you here now?
Yeah, I'm here.
So, the party have returned to Thrushmoor. It's raining and a gloomy day. And the party has fractured and split off in lots of different directions and gone about their business in town and are eventually reforming at the Silver Wagon, where Lila is upstairs having a bath and most of the others have gathered. And there's also a girl in her early teens who looks like she's trying rather successfully actually to copy Reynasia's look, who's kind of hanging on and being sort of a bit of a fangirl, really. There's some sort of hero worship going on there.
Alright, who's worshipping who?
This teenage girl is kind of hanging around Renasia Politis and not quite sucking up to her, but enthusiastically being friendly and trying to be supportive, but also being a bit timid and shy.
Okay.
Also, lots of people around town have been asking, wait, didn't you get arrested? Virgil has been down to his workshop just kind of, reorganizing things, moving things, because, the place hasn't been working for quite a while and it's a bit of a mess, a bit disorganized, and he's just, tidying up. He gets the impression that some youngsters have broken in here a few times and the place has been a bit insecure while he's been away. So he's been there, doing repairs and generally mending things. But if you'd like him to head over to Silver Wagon now, this would be as good a time as any to reunite the party.
Perfect timing.
Well, this I will have to explain myself. I'd like to have an indication that everybody's paying attention.
Yes.
Well, Alyssa, would you like to introduce yourself, first of all?
Halissa bites her lip and she says, hello everybody. My name's Halissa and I really need your help. This is Renasia Politis and she's brave and clever and strong and she's going to help me. It's...
Well, these are my friends. All of you.
Friends? Well,
yes, we met some time ago, but not that long ago.
if you're friends of hers, then I don't imagine all the things people say about you could be true. It's my brother Sholn. He's gone missing. He was out drinking a few nights back at the Stain, and with some fellow fishermen, and then he never made it home. And they say he went home, or was going home, and we never made it back, and we haven't heard from him, and I'm very worried.
There's this point, what's the character's name? I've forgotten the name now.
Lila.
Lila comes down, all looking nice and fresh and humming to herself happily, and there's different look upon her, and she's smelling of flowers and obviously wet hair and very clean. A totally transformed young lady. The bath was like taking, well, don't know if it's a world of good.
A totally transformed lung lady. Okay then.
Yes, young lady. So, oh, hello, who's your new friend? And I looked at the party.
Halissa falls silent as if it's not her place to respond.
I don't know. I just got here. I'm waiting on some food to take to someone.
I found my sword.
What? Oh, what are you? Ray.
It's cracked.
So are you. It matches.
I need to get it fixed.
Well, I would appreciate it if people would start introducing themselves, since Halissa was nice enough to do so.
Hi, I'm Azure Andosana, and I'm a fortune teller.
Oh, I remember.
My name.
Thank you, by the way. It really does look quite nice.
Oh, she did your hair for you.
Yes, I told you she did.
Oh, okay. Well, you're welcome.
I suppose there's nobody else with such blue hair as her.
It's kind of cold, but I'll get used to it in a few weeks. I hope.
Well, I suppose that would mean that we should get you a scarf.
Apparently, I'm associated with the Count, and I didn't know it.
Apparently, we are all associated with the Count, and this was written. If you recall.
And they haven't
No.
seen any
No, I suppose you were
the
told.
castle in half a moon.
Well, back to the matter.
Sorry,
at
wait, I
hand.
didn't quite hear that. What was that, Scott?
He said that they haven't seen anything from the constables in half a moon.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Hiya, I'm Lila. I have no idea what I used to do because I can't remember. My mind's gone completely blank. But I tend to blow things up.
Oh, hello, I'm What, you mean you mean like pig's bladders for children's parties?
No, people are talking about friends, and I turn the back and I throw things at them, and I just go bang.
You know,
Like
the
that
reaction
poor man in the alley.
we all have.
She starts trembling.
But only to my enemies. If somebody hurts my friend, and you're my friend, aren't you? Well, you're going to be my friend, so yeah, okay.
The whole
She
town is her
she thinks
friend.
for a moment and seems to rather rapidly come to the decision that she'd very much like to be the friend of someone who's going to make her explode if they're not her friend.
Mm-hmm.
No, if somebody hurts my friend, I can go bang, because that's what I do. It's a nice thing to do, to look after your friends, because we're all friends here, and I'm very, very happy now. I've had a long bath.
Right.
She needs something else long, but it's not a bath.
Did they put in that water?
I think you're looking at it.
I think they put Epsom salts in it.
Oh, no,
I
put
the whole
in it.
rest of
Roses, can you spell roses?
Hold on, guys. We got two people trying to speak here at once.
Sorry. Do you want to say something first, Paul?
I was just saying, it's roses. Can you smell roses? Nice perfume. And I sort of like, pose a bit.
No roses
I
I
send a
smell.
look over. I send a look over at Floofer that clearly says confirming his earlier statement and admitting with defeat that some of us aren't really that smart.
Yeah, because from fighting the
He rolls his eyes and kind of rolls over on his back and waves his legs in the air a little bit to get his tummy rubbed.
Rubs his tummy.
Got nothing to do with
As
being
you
smart.
scratch his tummy, you hear his voice in your head say, "All right, how about that one? Can I just eat her if she's not paying attention?"
I actually do laugh at that. No.
No, you're no fun.
And I
You're
I whisper, she is the one who blows things up. It's useful.
Okay, and well, I gotta go.
Look at Gregor and I go, and you thought I was weird.
I'm gonna go get the rest of my gear. I'm gonna go start staying at the
Well,
chapel since
one moment, because we still haven't actually discussed why we're here, and Alyssa needs help. Remember?
Oh, yeah, listen.
Oh, so you're not going to help find her brother. Is that what you're saying? You are not going to help Alyssa find her brother, who she's very worried about and has disappeared for several days.
You're skipping ahead. You haven't told them about the missing brother.
She said it. You are
Alyssa
not-
says, "I did mention him."
Sorry, Alyssa dear. He obviously was not listening.
I'm sorry, we have memory problems.
Yeah, he seems to be rather busy talking to that sword of his.
He did just say we have memory problems.
Memory issues, yes.
And where was your brother last seen at?
Well, sir, he went to the Stane after he'd been out fishing all day with some of his other fisherman friends, and when he set out to come home, he never got home. And that was 3 nights ago now, and I'm very worried.
Okay, here's what we do. Get his stuff and take it to the church. We'll get my sword fixed. And then we go look for this girl's brother, I think.
Turn around. Innkeep, is that food ready yet?
He says, "In a minute."
Wow.
Okay.
Okay,
Incredible. These people have priorities, apparently.
well, I would love to
did
help this
promise
young lady.
to deliver food to someone.
I would love to help this young child look for her brother. But I am still suffering the effects of the last incident that we went up against.
Me too.
So I am not at 100%. Now, if we end up into a situation where we have to fight to rescue said brother, it might not be good to have to bury most of us.
Raph, is it possible to heal ailments or status effects?
You might
Yes,
be away
it
from-
is.
Oh, he's there.
I've been here.
Be possible by going to the healer.
It might, although I'm going to have to double check up on that because the information would be useful to have right now.
Didn't you already say something about going to the healer?
I did see her once already. I do not
Okay.
know how many times that it can be used to help me with this a day.
Okay.
Ah, right. Okay, that's what I needed to know. Okay. Well, you haven't been there recently yourself, but you've walked past it a few times in the last couple of days, and it looks like a shop. It looks like an apothecary shop. And it's called the House of Healing. It also looks like after walking past a few times in the last couple of days, you reckon the apothecary is a little hobbit who lives there and brews his potions and mixes his medicines. It may be able to help with certain ailments, but probably not this late in the evening, as it's now kind of late afternoon getting on to early evening.
Since we've had several people disappear, and everybody's worried about it, and also Winter has also asked us about the disappearance of her friend, the Seeker that headed up towards the fort, and she offered to go with us to look for Seeker Almari, to travel with us up there. If we go to investigate that, they might be connected with the fort.
I was going to say that was very possible that they could all be taken by the same thing.
Well, Alyssa?
Yes, Mom?
If you're willing to see if it works, I could ask the cards.
Oh, I don't...
What's the worst that happens? It doesn't work.
If you think it would help.
I got time. I'm waiting on the food to be done. It only takes me about 10 minutes.
Oh, well, if that's all right with the rest of you, I'd take anything that could help at this.
I wasn't asking them. I was asking you. They don't like me anyways, half of them, so...
Well, if you think it would help, and she edges a little closer and leans across the table a bit, peering.
Oh, well, I'm gonna take a table in the back. I'll walk across the room, sit down at a table, pull out the cards, start shuffling them up, and start dealing out a hero reading. And don't ask me to read the actual hero cards. That's where a DM decides how they mean, but I do have to look up my ability. One moment. Arrows chosen. Twice a week, I can spend 10 minutes consulting the hero deck on a particular action to gain the effects of the spell Augury as a spellcaster of my character level. No one other than me gains these benefits from this deck, and well, let's just hope it doesn't get destroyed. So, that being said, let me go to the spell Augury.
Already there.
I'm not. Let's see. Okay. So before I look at these cards and determine the reading here, is there a question you would like to ask of the cards for them to divine for you?
I want to know where my brother is.
Okay. How about a particular action involving how to find your brother or something?
Finding my brother.
Okay.
Alyssa seems to sound increasingly frustrated at this conversation.
All right, so let's try. Is her brother? Is looking for her brother going to be dark or positive for us?
Hmm.
And then I...
The answer is no.
You sit and you study the cards for some time, and it's not an entirely positive reading. Overall, you get the impression that he can be found, but it may be very unpleasant to do so.
Okay. Well, we will most likely find your brother, but unfortunately, it's unclear as to the answer. Now, I can try this again, but I won't be able to do it again for another week after this.
She perks up a bit again, a bit at the news, and just seems to nod and accept it.
Do you want me to try again? Would you like to narrow the questions down, be more explicit with your question as opposed to just find him?
Perhaps we should wait until we know a little more information first.
All right, that works. Sure thing. Oh, slowly pick them back up and make sure they're all nice and heavily shuffled because I use them for other reasons too.
Huh?
I'm not saying that to them. I'm saying to the GM
Yeah, I know.
that
I
I
understand.
use them for other things as well. You guys have even seen me use them. You know, we'll be in the middle of something. I'll go to cast a summon spell. I'll pull out a card from the deck, and sometimes it's a celestial horse. Sometimes it's a fiendish horse.
Now, at this point, a fellow walks into the inn, slightly skinny, looks a lot like one of the guys I used to do wargaming with, actually, and I can kind of see the mannerisms. Like the facial expression makes me imagine the same mannerisms and similar speech patterns and stuff. And he walks up behind Renacia's chair and he says, "Oh, there you are. You've been having a nice time." And he sits himself down beside her and puts his arm around her.
Hello there. I'm sorry. You seem quite familiar.
Oh, this is good.
I should jolly well hope so, Ray dear. How have you been? Don't you remember me, your old mucker, Keldrin Mon? Come on. How about a game of cards? And he's already got a deck out in his hands.
Gregor, will you escort me to that farmer's square so I can get this food to the... I think they need some alone time.
Yes, I think so.
glad
I'm going
so.
to be at my workshop. Get me if you need me.
Well, cars are clicking in my head. I glanced over at Halissa and I'm giving her this look. This person?
She kind of grins and nods like, yeah.
Just a second, this is getting good.
I know! I don't want to say it.
Oh god. Oh my god. I don't remember his name now, do I?
Well, he did just say your old mucker, Keldrin Mon.
Oh well, good. He said it. Keldrin! Gosh, it has been quite a while, apparently.
Yeah, you've been gone a long time. I missed you, you know. You never quite told me where you were going. Said you had to leave in a hurry.
Nah, I can't say I quite remember now. I must have hit my head pretty hard because I can barely remember anything.
So this is Miss Mon?
Mr.
Ms.
What?
Mon?
What?
I'm just trying to figure out, is this your wife or...
No, not really. Might as well be, though. We used to hang around a lot together, you know. Had loads of fun, and then you lot left town for a couple of weeks.
Well, it didn't seem we got very far. Since we're back now.
Well, he pats his belly, says, "Must have been something worth coming back for, eh?" Yeah.
You know who We are.
I need a moment.
Well, Renacia, I see you have a lot of catching up to do, so I will escort Azura to where she needs to go.
Send me bread.
And
Oh,
and the
you
next
dare, don't
tomorrow.
dare. Don't you dare.
So, did you have fun? Where did you go? Was it somewhere nice?
Well, Caldron, like I said, I must have hit my head pretty hard at some point because I can barely remember anything about the past few days. In fact, good gosh, I nearly forgot who I was.
Hey, now, you better treat that man right. At least he has a good hat. I turned to the innkeep and I go,
Yeah, too right, it's a good hat.
It is a very nice hat.
trying not to let her see me laughing at her. I'm facing the innkeep, just waiting.
And I'm just
Yeah, do you remember... Hang on.
Crap, I can't remember anything. I don't know what to say anymore.
Yeah, there's something a little different about you. I can't quite place it. Yeah, you're...
She got a haircut.
Oh, nah, she did that months ago. Bit weird, yeah, apparently the tips were kind of dipping in the inkwells a bit when she was poring over the manuscripts. At least that was her excuse.
Manuscripts? Well,
I reckon she just wanted it shorter myself.
What were you doing poring over manuscripts? I didn't hear about this.
He said you are.
Yeah.
Ah,
He must have been behind you when you were doing this.
I do wish. I'm kind of giving them all a look now. Damn it! I want them all to go away now.
You know,
As soon as I get the food, I'm going.
old Meb said you lot got sent off to Briarstone Asylum, but you can't believe everything he says. That can't be true, surely.
Well, you never
Actually,
know.
it is.
Crazy for
It
you.
is?
Yes.
Oh,
She
I'm
was
terribly
crazy
sorry
about
to
it.
hear that.
Yeah, I think she was over distraught about having to leave you.
Well, I imagine any woman would be terribly distraught over having to leave Vermont.
Yes, of course.
When I see.
Yeah, didn't you lot used to work for the Count?
So we've been hearing.
Yeah, what's going on with him, eh? What's going on up at Iris Hill?
Honestly, I can barely. What has been happening around Iris Hill?
I don't know. It looks like the Count's hired some new folks on after he let you lot go. Do you still work for him? I don't know.
Apparently not.
They got some new staff in there. Some of them are a bit creepy, you know?
Creepy in what way?
Like, creepy. You know, like you look at them and you feel sort of like disturbed.
Well, that's not a lot to go on. A person's actions always tell how, well, creepy they are.
Yeah. So are we playing or what? And he starts dealing cards to you.
Well, since you so insist, why don't we ask some of my new friends here?
Alyssa raises her hand and he starts dealing her in as well.
I'm not saying that, I'm just thinking that.
I'll plop in the chair and set my sword right next to where I'm sitting.
You get this distinct feeling that Alyssa feels honoured and amazed that she's going to actually get to sit and play cards with Keldrin Mon and Renacia Politis. Almost as if this has totally made her day.
And for some reason, the Mon, him referring to himself as the Mon, just suddenly makes me want me to suggest that maybe he should take Fufer for a walk.
I hear the name Mon, and I just keep thinking of Digimon all the time. I can't help it.
Whereas it's making me think of those Jamaican Warcraft trolls, for some reason.
Yaman.
Yeah, exactly.
My name's Keldrin Mon. How could you forget that?
That is so awkward.
As soon as that food comes
Well,
out,
the nice
I'm
thing is that these events tied into the past of characters are supposed to feel awkward, and if they do, then I'm doing it right.
Yeah. The fact that I have to battle with this memory loss
Mhm.
with these familiar characters. Wow, that just makes it doubly awkward.
So, you know, Keldrin sits and he deals out the cards, and you begin to play. And after a while, he says, "You know,
I was going to speak anyway.
oh, well, carry on then."
So, since I've been away, what's been happening? It doesn't seem that a lot of people are willing to talk to, well, us, and least of all my friends here.
Well,
And we haven't gotten very far.
I heard the magistrate was looking for you and your friends. Did he find you?
Well, apparently not, and apparently nobody can find the magistrate now, or at least he won't come out from it.
Well, he's been missing. These little while after you went away, the magistrate's what's his name? A count packed up his things and left town, and then the magistrate came round asking people questions and looking for information for a few days, and then he kind of stopped, and then the soldiers stopped coming down from the castle, and there's been no guards on the streets or anything, and people are getting worried, and there might be crimes and stuff, and it's all very edgy, you know. It don't feel right.
So that's why people have been on edge. I'm curious to know, did he ever divulge as to why he was looking, or what he was looking for? Any specific details he might have?
I don't know. I think it had something to do with the Count, personally. It was some kind of unfinished business. Maybe the Count hadn't set some affairs straight or something. He's got some of his advisors and security staff helping run things from up in the manor house on the hill there. But obviously the mayor hadn't been given all the information, or the magistrate rather. And mayor's gone missing too, by the way. Other people have been disappearing, left, right and centre. We don't know what's going on. Here, what were you doing up at Old Wormshook, before you disappeared?
I can't remember.
It looked like you were trying to stuff something underneath the docks. It'd be a pretty good place to keep something if you knew you were going to leave town for a few days and you didn't want anyone to find it. You know, everyone's still pretty scared of that pier after that freaky monster melted Jano, Mernal and Kern a few years ago. So I doubt anyone's going to go find that bag you were stuffing up under there, but it might have been something useful, you know?
Wow. I'd say it'll be still of use to me. I better find out. I'm surprised that it was a few years ago, but nothing's happened. I'm sure.
Yeah, well, it was kind of late in the evening, and I saw you lot, you know, up at the end of the pier with this big leather bundle wrapped all up, and then you kind of leaned over the edge and stuffed it under the planks. I reckoned as how, you know, you didn't want bothering. You all looked pretty serious, and I thought, better not make a nuisance of myself, you know? Especially with him around, and emotions towards Eric and his sword. Yeah, weren't you arrested?
I don't think so.
Right.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay then. It must have been someone else.
Well, from what I've been hearing, are you saying that the Count is back in that old manor?
No. Some of his advisors are looking after the place while he's away. It was some kind of big important trip. He's going to be gone for a few months at least. Actually, we don't know how long he's going to be gone, but it was big important business. It must be to take him away.
The guards. You mentioned that there are no guards. Do they just go home, or do they truly vanish?
I don't know.
Vanish it is, then. You must have known some of them.
Maybe they disappeared like some of the other missing people.
I certainly hope not. I can see why this town is so worried. Anything could happen.
Well, I'm pretty worried.
Gosh.
I mean, I'm just a humble dock worker, and if people are disappearing, who knows why? I mean, they could come for me at some point. Got to be careful, got to look after myself. Here, how come I never see you round the stain anymore these days? What you been up to?
Well, if believe it or not, I only just got back.
I see. Well, it's good to have you back anyway, and he throws you a big friendly smile. And Halissa grins as well. Oh, I see you found young Halissa, by the way. She's been looking for you the last few days. Seems she caught up to you before I did. She's a smart little girl, that one. You want to watch her?
I definitely will. And well, it's been great speaking with you again, Eldrin. I will stop by the stain at some point. We at this moment we are looking for Halissa's brother.
Oh, Sean, yeah, he's gone missing. I heard about that. Such a shame. Poor boy. I do hope he's found.
It's not nice. Sorry, it wasn't very nice to hear that people were laughing at her.
Yeah, well, sorry. When a young girl walks into a house full of drunkards, and kind of, demands help and expects it, some of the blokes aren't too sober. You know what I mean?
Well, honestly, I would have preferred if she didn't walk in by herself into a tavern of drunkards. That wouldn't be very safe.
Halissa says, normally I walk in with my brother, but he wasn't there. Obviously.
Well, we're going to look for him. Promise.
Yes, Mom.
Where are you staying at, young lady?
At my house.
Okay, I did not know where you lived. I did not remember if you lived in the town or outside of town. That's why
her eyes open wide, as if she's suddenly been introduced to the concept that people might actually live outside town. As far as she's concerned, this town is obviously her whole life. It's just so, it's not necessarily so big, but it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously she knows there's towns far away, but like living on the outskirts of town or a short distance away, that just completely frazzles her mind,
And which neighborhood is your house out at? Is it close to the Stain? Is it close to the Star Stellar?
We're sort of down. We're sort of up near the foot of Iris Hill, behind the healer's house. On that little road along the bottom of the hill there. Sort of around here-ish.
If you do not mind, we will start. If you do not mind, I'll be available in the morning. Right now, I need to get some more rest. And I will be happy to help you look for her brother then.
Halissa says, sleep well, sir.
Around this town at night is a great idea, especially with people disappearing, and then they see us wandering around at night.
And I need to go deliver something before it gets too late.
Alright.
So I will walk her to deliver the food, and then I will take that bridge there to the new chapel.
Understood. Is anyone else doing anything special before
Mark out.
heading off to bed for the evening, or what?
I'm gonna mark off a gold for that food.
Fair enough.
Is it dark out?
Not quite yet, but it's getting darker. And it will be dark soon. Give it another half an hour, it'll definitely be dark.
Well, Eric can get his sword fixed. The problem is it will take more than a day. Well, it takes more than what. Yeah. It will definitely take more than a few hours.
I head over to Virgil's workshop.
Alright. When you arrive at Virgil's workshop, you see the sign is set to open, and you can hear the sounds of Virgil working inside.
Give me a second. I'm actually writing a whole entire description here.
After
Okay.
we're safely away from the inn, I'll call Ulna out
Mm-hmm.
in
She-
private, hidden somewhere, because she's still got an affliction that she has to go through.
She appears and shrugs and kind of stretches as if she's been cramped into quite a small space.
I know you're still hurting, and I know you're still injured, but I have to have it run its course so I can help you later. I don't have the spell to heal you. I can heal your injuries, but I cannot heal the mar that toxin put on you.
All right. Raf, I'm gonna send you something.
Okay.
This is kind of what I wanted to go and do. And we could go and narrate the scene at any way you would like.
Sure.
So, not very.
Is Kelvin still with us at the Silver Wagon?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got a few questions.
Does any of the party members want some company walking out in the streets this evening?
I do not at this time because Gregor went walking with me, and
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then from
I'm-
there, I'm just heading straight to the chapel. I'm not wandering around and investigating anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just too badly.
Well, yeah.
Alright, Eric, you kind of knock on the door and you don't get any sort of response, but you can hear the sounds of craftsmanship going on inside.
Is the door locked?
No, the door's not locked.
I'll go in.
See
Inside.
the not so happy looking bird sitting on the counter.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little pretty.
And you see Virgil carving away at something. He seems totally focused on it. His mind just somewhere else.
Mhm.
And he's just carving away ever so gently, just over and over and over again with the tools.
Mhm.
And
You start-
finally,
Go ahead, Ryan.
finally he stops for a moment, looks at what he's created, and it looks like a creature, but the head, the face, where the facial features should be, there's just one large eye that's been carved in, and it looks very odd. And he looks at it as if seeing it for the first time, with a slight look of confusion on his face, and then realizing that you're there, turns to look at you slightly, says, "Oh, hey," and then looks back at his work.
Oh, hey, Eric.
I need a place to crash again.
Yeah. Take the floor anywhere. What in the world? What were these things? And he starts rubbing his eyes and sets down the doll. And goes to go and get some water from the well.
Look at what he crafted. That is not in the room.
It looks like a person with a distinctly cyclopean visage and no mouth and no nose. Oh man, that's just reminded me of a really good piece of foreshadowing from Lone Wolf Book 3, The Caverns of Kalt, with the little carving of a monster that looked like, oh, what is this weird thing? And then later, towards the end of the adventure, the thing actually appears, and it's like, oh, bloody hell, that's what it was. And the amount of time that passed between the initial reveal and the actual thing, and it was just like, it was good, you know, it wasn't rushed. It wasn't like, oh, and here's the thing. It was like, no, actually a good amount of time has passed, and this feels like a reasonable introduction of a thing, you know.
Yep. So, anyway, if you want to go and take a look at the doll and whatnot, by all means, go for it. Anyway, I get to the well probably, and I'm just gonna go and pour water into my jug and come back to the workshop.
You'll find Eric with leaning up against the wall, sitting on the floor with his eyes closed, completely closed, with his armor and everything on. Look like he's already went to sleep.
Okay. So, I will go and sit down at my workshop once more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll start crafting, a puppet.
You mean a puppet?
No, a puppet. It's a golem.
Well, that's going to take quite a long time. I imagine it'll involve crafting feats and skill checks and
I
stuff
already
like that.
have that crafting feat, and I'm looking up what the stuff for it is. So,
Is it like a craft poppet feat?
yep, it's craft puppet.
Okay.
So, I'm looking up the crafting puppets and that stuff again. It's been a while since I actually looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's okay.
So, here we go. Crafting is skill carpentry and cost is 160 gold. And I need some spells.
So, as you sit working away on this, you know, the rain pounds on the windows, and you get the distinct, you know, feeling that the world outside is angry.
Storm's getting worse. And I probably go and hear Eric snoring in the background.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
So is everyone just kind of wanting to go to sleep at this point? Because it seems that way at the moment.
I'm just waiting eventually for things to resolve. I don't know.
You notice that Keldrin, while friendly and cheery, he can definitely sense there's something wrong and that it's not quite right and not the way things used to be. But he's being polite about it and not making a big fuss.
If I'm able to stay the night at these people's home, then I will. Otherwise, I'll go to the church.
Yeah, don't worry, Evan. I read your message. I was just...
Okay, sorry.
Well, they are very grateful. I'm not sure they're willing to put you up for the night. Just
Okay.
yet, though.
Well,
So-
if everybody's said their piece, which I'm assuming because we're all going quiet, it seems a wiser idea to send Holis at least to bed. Maybe not back to the house in the dark.
Now, is anyone going to escort her home? Or are you guys just going to tell her to go home now?
Well, I'd like to I'd like to ask her. Well, Alyssa,
I'll
it's
have
not going to be safe going back home at night. Would you like to at least stay at this inn?
Oh, really? Could I?
Yes. Yes, you definitely can.
Could I stay in your room, Mom?
I'm starting. In my head, I'm thinking I'm starting to feel like a mom. Yes. Go. You may. But
Oh.
I'll be up later.
It'd be my honour, Mom. And she heads on upstairs.
Well, since good. I wait until she's upstairs and probably getting ready to retire.
Mm-hmm.
Before turning to Keldrin. All right. I might as well say this. I really can't remember anything, and you would have noticed by now.
Oh, would be nice to thought I'd made a more lasting impression, but yeah, there's definitely something very strange going on here. Are you all right? Yeah. Now that that young woman's out of the way, do you remember that time when we, you know?
When we are getting a bad feeling about this, by the way.
You know.
Dun, dun, dun,
Look, Keldrin. This has nothing to do with impressions or remembering people by impression. I swear to you, this was some strange magic, or I don't know. I don't even know if you believe me. When I woke up, I was literally locked in an. It was not good. None of it was good. Why am I telling you this now? Oh, Raph, is he even a trustworthy person to talk to?
You have no idea.
Someone's typing.
There's a lot of messages going around at the moment, actually. Uh-huh.
Again, I apologize. I absolutely do not remember anything.
That means you forgot about Junior.
If you're about to tell me now that you've been to see other women, I wouldn't hold it against you. At least I can't remember any against you.
Other women? Did you think that we... Nah, come on, I'm pulling your leg, girl. We never... Well, not like that, anyway. Not that I would say no, mind, but we just never really got round to it, you know? We're just good friends. I was just joshing with you.
I do hope. Sorry, I'm coughing again. I swear I'm getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure you can't tell me anything that might... Oh, I don't know. Be important? I didn't miss out on...
I don't know what could be important. I mean, I just work down on the docks, you know, just loading boats, unloading boats, storing stuff in warehouses. It's all pretty dull, really.
Well, you do get around to gossiping, I'm assuming.
Well,
After all,
man's got to do something to get some kind of enjoyment out of life, you know.
I'll swallow that.
I'm pretty much out of the hearsay. It'll be nice to at least know what really went on, apart from rumors about my friends murdering someone. I don't know. And the Count. I mean, the Count himself. I don't know. I can't recall working for him. Or
Oh, you did, you know. You worked for him for quite a long time. I'll tell you what. You, well, don't know quite how to say this. But you were different then, when you worked for him. More sort of scary. Still friendly, though.
Scary how?
Well, I don't know, but you don't seem quite as sort of ruthless and menacing before. And immediately in your mind you hear Floofer's voice saying, like, fuck, are you not menacing?
Sorry,
I'll show him menacing. And he starts growling. And Keldon says, oh my, he is a little fierce one, isn't he?
Oh, you didn't believe.
You didn't have him before. Did you find him wherever it was that you went?
I kind of rescued him.
Rescue? Oh, he doesn't look like he needs any sort of rescuing. He's lovely, isn't he? And he reaches down to tickle the dog under his chin.
And loses several fingers doing so.
Are you going to stop him?
I'm there kind of... That's probably not a good idea. And like, I just gently put a hand on his.
Oh. He looks down at your hand and stops and doesn't make any more effort to touch the dog.
You did.
And in your mind you hear Floofer's voice saying, yeah, that's right, suck it, bitch. I'm the king of this one and you leave off. Paws off my bitch.
Fluffer, be nice. He just complimented you.
Yeah. You know what else he'd compliment? My palate.
I just give
I
him
huff and puff and gobble him all up.
I just give him this. I just give Fluffer the
It might take me a while though. He's pretty big.
horrified look.
I won't have to eat for a week if I eat him.
Just imagine the massive turd I'd lay afterwards as well. I mean, I can't digest all of that.
I'm totally shitting on the neighbor's lawn after this. Okay, now that I'm done. I'm done.
Now, to be fair, the dog is crude and crass, but it can only communicate telepathically when it's in physical contact with someone.
Which is one of the reasons why I didn't want him touching Fluffer.
Yeah, because he might have reacted rather strangely after that.
Well, yeah, I pat Keldrin on the arm and say, I pat Keldrin on the arm. I'm glad that I'm not as scary as before, although I'm not quite sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not. I didn't realize friendly and scary went hand in hand.
Well, you weren't always that scary. You're not quite so kind of serious now, though. More sort of relaxed.
Well, given the given the recent events and odd looks I've been getting, I would have thought I was very tense as well. I suppose I'm just a little bit optimistic towards our situation.
Yeah, so about that time the big man got arrested, how did he ever manage to get off?
You shouldn't be asking me. Actually, you can't ask him either because I haven't.
I'm not going to ask him. You seen the size of that sword he's got?
He was very insistent on getting that back.
Yeah, I wonder why.
People get sentimental about their possessions.
Well, yeah. That could be one reason.
It would be nice to assume that's his reason anyway.
Right. Sure.
God.
Sure. That's the
God.
reason. And he grins in that there's no fucking way that's the reason kind of way.
It's nice to hope. I've heard strange stories about, well, me getting arrested as well, and I was quite shocked to hear that.
Well, old Magistrate Padgett was looking for you lot.
Well, looking, but arrests?
No. Listen. He taps the side of his nose and beckons for you to lean in a little.
Mm-hmm.
He was looking for you all a couple of days before you all left town. Shortly before you went and stuffed that bag under Pier 19.
I wonder. I do wonder.
There's a big plot coming up now.
Ooh,
A big what coming up now?
a plot thing?
What, you mean like all the other hints and things I've been dropping throughout this session weren't plot hints?
I planned on in the morning going to go look at that damn
I'm worried that we're gonna find a body, that's all.
underneath that thing, but I didn't plan on going out there at night after you talked about something melting somebody.
A monster melting somebody years ago, well, we can't prove that it's still there. Just so you know.
Yeah, well, they couldn't prove that the witch was still around either. How did that work out for
Oh
us?
God, I've just worked out what the insanity play is. I think he means the insanity plea.
Yep.
Right, I was looking at it going, now what is he meant to right there? What's the intention behind that? Oh, okay, cool.
Inappropriate. How did we get out of jail? The insanity plea.
Keldrin says, now you want to be careful with that young girl Halissa. You know she looks up to you, right?
I understand. Well...
No, I mean like really looks up to you.
I
lot.
look at it with the quizzical.
Just
Literally.
don't be surprised if you... Well, never mind. He chuckles.
Alright. Many thoughts running through my head here, and I don't know which ones are true.
I mean, you know, she got her hair cut to look like you and everything. It kind of shocked her brother a bit when she did that, but he got over it after a while.
Well, I do suppose that does border on dangerous.
Dangerous? It's just hair.
No, you know what I'm talking about. Never mind.
Floofer nuzzling into your side, murmurs in your head, too right he knows what you're fucking talking about, love.
Oh, you're getting more and more obscene by the minute. Well, I suppose we better head off and get some rest. At least I hope my friends get back.
Keldrin says, "All right, yeah, off I go then. But stay in touch, yeah? See you soon."
Yes, definitely.
And he heads off out into the night. Kind of slinks out the door a bit. And you always get the feeling that he's got the kind of movement mannerisms of a person 3 or 4 inches taller than he actually is. Kind of like he, like stooping to go through doors when he doesn't need to and stuff like that. Almost as if it's kind of like ingrained behaviour because so many of his friends or relatives are just that much taller and he just kind of moves the same way they do or something like that. Or maybe he's just got a very low door in his house.
Well,
hard to say.
Those are nicer. Those are nicer thoughts than what I was thinking. I almost thought he just thought himself bigger or higher than he really is. That kind of egotist.
Or maybe it's that he spends all day carrying heavy crates and sacks and packages around. So he's got this kind of stooped, bowed down, heavy, crunching posture, and he's more and he's actually a bit taller than he looks, and he hasn't quite got out of the mannerisms yet.
Well, that's not good on the posture. It's not good on.
No, it's really not. Speaking of posture, remember you said that word. It might come up later on in the session.
Okay. Well, I pick up Floofer and head up the room.
Oh yeah, touch me, bitch.
Oh.
Told you should have threw him overboard, but no. Me.
Well, Glenn, you can't really talk since you're not here, right?
This is true, I suppose.
Floofer, do you have to be so cruel?
No, I choose to. It's more fun that way.
It's funny and it gets old very quickly.
Yeah, says you. You just got no sense of humour.
Given the things that have happened, I wouldn't be surprised if I lost my sense of humor.
Okay, so Keldrin's headed off back to the Stain. And you've picked up Floofer, you're heading up the stairs to your room. When you get there, there's a little candlelight flickering from underneath the door.
Well, as I get to the door, I will be making my way to my room anyway. Well, it's still nice to have you around anyway. As much as you creep everyone out.
He goes, "Whoa," with his tentacle mouth thing.
Oh, you. What am I going to do when you just get out of control?
Well, you've reached the door now. There's definitely a candle lit in the room.
I wonder if she's still. I wonder if she's already asleep. It's been a long day.
That's one way to find out.
Please don't nothing pop out. Well, I push open the door lightly
And startle her. She moves to kind of like as if she was doing something, and then you realise she's wearing your nightgown and nothing else, and in the bed. And no, she's not in the bed. She's kind of sitting on the foot of the bed, and clearly wasn't expecting anyone to open the door just then. And she looks completely shocked and deeply disturbed.
Alyssa, why are you wearing my Nightdress?
Mom, I'm sorry, Mom. I just wanted to know what it might feel like to be you. I hope you don't mind, Mum. I'll take it off if you want.
Oh, Raggy.
I sit beside her. Now, Halissa, I don't know where or why you are so obsessed. I'm just another person. If you want to be strong, you should be strong on your own terms. Not anybody else's, and certainly not mine.
Oh no, I'm not strong, Mum. Not like you and your friends. You're really strong. You're special, you know, Mum?
I'm nobody special. I'm just another person. And
You
it's not...
sense that she's really tense right now.
I raise my hand to brush her hair.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all right.
Mum,
Now,
you're not angry with me, are you, Mum?
no, I'm not angry. I wish you'd just
Still going to
see.
find my brother?
Of course. I just want you to be yourself and not be me.
But I am being myself. I want to find Sean.
We'll find Sean. I promise. But for now, may I have my nightdress back?
Okay.
You have your own clothes, yes?
She kind of nods towards a pile of clothes on the floor, and begins to somewhat, rather self-consciously remove your nightdress and hand it back to you. She really stripped down to the skin there, but she's a teenager, and she starts putting her own clothes back on, and curls up at the foot of the bed and just sort of lies there. Takes off her outer jerkin and rolls it up under her head as a pillow.
Wow, there's only one bed in the room. God damn it, why didn't I see this coming?
I don't know.
You could sleep normally on the bed if you'd like. Not at the foot of it.
You also notice that she's been going through your things.
Wow, I notice them now.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have just done a perception check as well. But
Nothing seems to be missing, but you can tell that things have been moved around a little bit and poked and prodded and examined.
Well, I won't question you on it now. I know. I'm still, but in my mind, I'm still wondering. How is it that she's come to admire me so much that she's obsessed? It's rather unnatural and unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know you. You think?
Maybe it's something to do with the things that you can't remember.
I would say definitely. It would be nice if I could at least get some information as to what I did or who I was before. Friendly but scary. Jeez.
So,
well,
you eventually settle down and Floofer crawls up onto the bed and just sits there looking at you as you eventually drift off to sleep. Halissa is curled up on the floor at the foot of the bed.
sorry. If Fluffer looking at me, well, I pat him on the head and say, "Be good, Fluffer. I don't want no incident."
Is all the response you get from him.
right. So,
And then, when she's asleep, can I wee on her head?
well, you can wee on somebody else's head that's. Sorry, I'm whispering this to him, by the way, just so it doesn't. I don't wake her up. You can go wee on somebody else's head that isn't in this room, alright?
Mm.
There are plenty of other people to harass.
He just sits there and stares at you with his big round puppy eyes.
Good fluffer.
But I want to wee on her head.
And with that, as we're kind of have we been going long enough? Do people want to kind of end the session here, or do they want to carry on for a bit longer?
I'm fine with whatever you guys want to do.
I'm here, just waiting.
I'm fine. I'm just like I said. I don't know if using my healer's kit will help with the damage I've taken from poisoning.
Probably not. Although maybe if someone else helps you with it a little bit.
That's
But
why I
on
was
the
talking about
whole,
priest. That's why Winter helping. So I'm trying. That's where I'm staying at is in there to help them out as much as possible.
Yeah.
Plus,
Oh right, yeah, helping other people. No, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Well,
and
okay.
if she can use that wand again, or if it can only be used once a week, or
No,
how many
it can.
times it can be
It
used.
can. It can be used as many times as you want. It just had about 7 uses left when you found it, and it's been used quite a few times since then. It might not have much power left. I don't have an exact number, but I think it's literally down to its last 1 or 2 charges at this point.
Well, I'd say that would be the end for my character anyway. That's like roleplay.
You know what?
roleplay.
Actually, it
I don't know
is.
if other people want to finish off as well.
It is about 1:30 in the morning. It might be a good time to end this one here. We came to a nice kind of rounding off point. I was hoping to get a bit more done this session. Fortunately, I do have maps and tokens for most of the areas all sorted now. I still have a bit more work to do on the campaign. But yeah, I think we'll end this one here. I hope you've all enjoyed it. And we'll say bye-bye now and stop recording.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye all.
Bye.